Your director of football. You know, the guy that you dust off from the cupboard once a year to handle the contract to some youth players that are never going to make it anyway, while you're off handling more important tasks like how many central midfielders on attack you can fit into one midfield before it starts to get a little bit silly. But does the quality of your doff actually matter, even if he's put in charge of basically running the club by himself? Well, today I intend to find out by pitting the worst and the best doffs off against each other in a fight to the end. Okay, that's a bit dramatic, but I've set them a series of challenges. Now, staff quality is one of those topics that very often comes up on stream. You can find a link to those in the description. I stream Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, and of course, drop the video a like if you enjoy it. But without any further ado, it is time to meet our contestants. In the red corner, we have Chuckles the Clown, the worst director of football you could possibly imagine. He has ones in every single attribute possible. He has the worst possible personality traits, even though it still says he's balanced because reasons. And he's not a man that you'd ever want to let anywhere near your football club. This man couldn't even direct a current if he stuck a fork in a plug socket. And in the blue corner, we have GIGACHAD. He is all things to all men, and most importantly, all footballers. He is perfectly suited in every way for the job, and I can't wait to see what he gets up to. That's if he can pull himself away from the mirror for 5 seconds. Luckily, vanity is not a negative trait in this particular case. And the reason we're using Newcastle, of course, is because they have a huge starting budget, lots of stuff, great scouting, and hopefully should allow these guys to flex their muscles. Well, one of them certainly. So that's our contestants. What about our challenges? Challenge number 1, and this is a real simple one. They must extend the contracts of 3 players at the club of my choosing. For the purposes of this, I've chosen Paul Dummett, Callum Wilson, and Miguel Almiron, so it covers a few of the different bases. They will be judged on the quality of the contracts as well as just being able to get the deal done in the first place by our panel of judges. I am the judges. I am the panel of judges. Challenge number 2. They must, to the best of their ability, fill the staffing gaps that the club currently has. In our current state, that means 5 coaches, 3 scouts, 2 recruitment analysts, and 2 physios. And lastly, challenge number 3, the big one. They have 2 full transfer windows with which to buy and sell players to their heart's content. The club has a starting budget in both of these saves of £113 million and £335,000 in wage budget. They'll of course again be judged by the panel. That's me, I'm the panel, based on the quality of the players they sign, the contracts they assign to those players, and any sales they make along the way as well. So those are the ground rules. Let's get started with the challenges. We're going to let the clown go first because he needs something to believe in, right? So Callum Wilson has a brand new contract on £90,000 a week, but one thing he has done quite well is remove an insane amount of clauses that Callum Wilson had when it comes to bonuses. So actually, I'm fairly pleased with that, although the loyalty bonus is enormous. And he's also reduced his goal bonus by half. That's actually not bad business from the clown. As for Paul Dummett, he's actually dropped his wage as well, albeit only by £500 a week, but still not awful. Still contains a whacking great loyalty bonus, but that's to be expected. His appearance fee is up slightly, as are the clean sheet bonuses and unused substitute bonuses, but it's not too bad. A new deal for Miggy Almiron as well, and it's the same wage. He's on 75k initially, and he's on 75k here. His appearance fee has definitely gone up, and his unused substitutes fee has gone up, but he no longer has a goal bonus at all, and his was quite large before, and his assist bonus is slightly higher, but still, not a bad piece of business. Whether GIGACHAD can match that or do better is a very different question. Now, it's important to remember that I expect GIGACHAD to win all of these challenges relatively comfortably. It's just to be a question of by how much does he win them, and is it enough to really make any difference who your director of football actually is? That's kind of what we're trying to prove. Although, I'm prepared to be surprised. Looks to be eerily similar to the one that the useless clown just conned. We'll check this though. Every single factor in this contract, from the bonuses to the clauses to the length and the wage itself, are all identical to that which the clown was able to negotiate. I'm starting to wonder how on rails director of football stuff actually is on FM. The wage for Paul Dummett is exactly the same, but the contract is a year shorter and it does contain a 1-year extension instead of being a year longer, which gives the club more control. However, the appearance fee is slightly higher and his unused substitute fee is nearly double that which the clown managed to negotiate. So it's an interesting one. And although there's a lot of similarities between their 2 contracts, mostly the wage and the length of the contract, there are some definite areas in which GIGACHAD has overperformed. The loyalty bonus is the same, but the appearance fee and especially the unused substitute fees are much, much lower, whilst the assist bonus remains the same. So in the battle of the contract extensions, I give this round to the GIGACHAD, but not anywhere near by the margin I was expecting. Well, that was actually pretty enlightening. But now, on to challenge 2. Filling up the staffing gaps at the club. They're both going to have till the end of the January transfer window to do that, even though it's irrelevant, just so that we can keep a nice timescale to it. So let's see who they pick up to add to the staff of the club. The clown, starting off first. Well, hey, he's finally done a staff signing. Emilio Alvarez. Taking him long enough to get this one sorted. Decent, on a 4-year deal. Nice work, the clown. Would you believe it? Another goalkeeping coach. He signed an under-18 goalkeeping coach and 2 first-team goalkeeping coaches. I think we were either lacking something or he just has an obsession with goalkeepers. Is it the gloves? Are they kind of clown-like? It's another goalkeeping coach. Rui Barbosa is now in for 3.1k a week. Again, free transfer. Do we need this many goalkeeping coaches, Chuckles? So he's finally picked up a scout. This is Peter Clark on 6.5k a week. decent scout, honestly. Really, really decent. Antonio Diaz is in for 1.8k a week. Very good fitness. Like that. And he's going to be £70,000 for us, but not a bad wage and a 3-year deal. Decent scout. Average, but solid. Not too bad. Another new guy. He really is actually starting to sign a lot of staff members. It just took him a little while to get going once the transfer window was out of the way. So Pacal Del Miguel is another fitness coach. He's going in for all sorts, and he's got 20 fitness. Really good pick, actually. So we've now picked up yet another scout, and I think that completes the quota, which is Vicente Portal. So let's take a little portal into this man. Again, very solid scout. He's also paid nearly 80 grand to Brighton for Rob Jarvis to be a performance analyst who is okay at analysing data. And it's Jordan Tribe, £350,000 for a recruitment analyst from Brighton who has... I mean, his judging player ability is okay, but it feels like a lot of money for a recruitment analyst. I'm just saying. It's certainly not bad for someone who has 0 attributes for the role and apparently can't do anything. So I'm very curious to see how it compares to GigaChad when he does his in a second. Now that is interesting. He too has gone for a goalkeeping coach. Maybe they just lacked that then. It's the same guy, Emilio Alvarez. And it's important to note, it's the same guy and the exact same terms. So Javier Valero in for the exact same amount as the clown gave him. It's Craig Dean. 46-year-old scout, 200 grand from Leeds is coming in. The wages are kind of irrelevant because we've got no comparison point, but he's a decent scout. And we're back on theme again as Rui Barbosa joins us, the 48-year-old. Another goalkeeping coach. Well, there we go. Antonio Diaz, another, this time a fitness coach, of course, but of course he was also signed by the clown. This is Michel Rablat, a scout from Everton. It seems like he's definitely targeting better scouts, I would say. 140k compensation, 1.9k a week. Very solid scout, good determination, well, good adaptability, good judging on both sides, some decent knowledge as well. I'd say that's a good pickup. I think he's going to win this category just because he's getting better people. So of course he's got Paco de Miguel to be his fitness coach. Another scout signing, Marcelo Rowe, 52-year-old scout, huge wage, 6 grand a week for Marcelo Rowe. He's good, but it's a lot of money. So we picked up performance analyst Sam Hudson from Brighton. I'm fairly certain this was also another of the same transfers. Now there are quite a few different stats that we need to assess, so you'll see a lot of that on the screen as I talk about it. Now both of them actually moved over a performance analyst, Billy Coulston, to make him a recruitment analyst to free up a slot, and looking at his attributes for both roles, I think that's the right choice. GigaChad also promoted from within a guy called Joe Fryer to be a recruitment analyst instead of spending £350,000 to bring a new one in, and they were basically exactly the same in terms of quality if you added up their combined attributes for the role. So, and I think he was only a tiny bit more expensive, so good work GigaChad on that one. He again wins on the performance analyst, Hudson versus Jarvis, although they were identical and had the same compensation. One of them was on cheaper wages. For scouts, it gets a little bit more interesting though. If you combine their key attributes for the role, the difference is only by 5 attribute points in favor of GigaChad, 140 versus 135. And if you break it down a bit further to the individual combined attributes, he still wins 2 out of the 3 categories. But he did spend nearly double the amount on compensation, 350 versus 198, and nearly £2,000 a week more on wages. The only other big difference is that his guys tend to have more world knowledge of interesting countries. Clown's guys tended to be more focused on England only. In fact, 2 of them were. Coaches were all exactly the same on exactly the same terms, so that's a dead heat. So in terms of staff, I think it's extremely close, a lot closer than it perhaps should be, but GigaChad probably just wins it on the quality of the scouts that he actually brought in, and it's only very minor. Well, that's given me a lot to think about. But now, onto the biggest challenge of them all. The transfer windows. How will they fare when being forced to handle our entire transfer itinerary? He's also gone very big, very early with a £53 million bid on Yves Bissouma of Brighton. I mean, that's obviously Bissouma's an insanely good player. So this is the contract that he's offered Yves Bissouma, £140,000 a week on a 5-year contract with an optional extension and a £65 million release clause. Huge loyalty bonus of £8 million and an appearance fee of 28 grand on top of that with a huge agent fee. In my head, this seems bad, but I don't know because we have no point of comparison. Big move off the back of the Bissouma deal. The clown has gone straight in for Diego Carlos of Sevilla with a £40.5 million bid. Well, here we go then. Diego Carlos joins us, £120,000 a week. That's not a small amount of money. Might be the highest paid player at the club, actually, as it goes. I think the only way we'll really know how good a deal this is if GigaChad goes after the same guy. Oh, he's here to splash the cash again. He's gone in for Lazio defender Francesco Acerbi for £29.5 million. Now, he's 33 years old, remember? That was bloody quick. Straight away, just done. 99 grand a week he's offered him. Quite a high appearance fee on top of that, and a fairly large clean sheet bonus. He appears to be doing a bit of youth shopping now. He's gone for Mamadi Kamara of Reading for a fee of 1.5, rising to 2.6 million pounds. Well, this is the contract on the table for Kamara. It's got all sorts of other stuff with like league matches. It's a very complex deal. Marvin Hitz, the Dortmund 34-year-old goalkeeper, to provide some cover for 2.4 million pounds, £26,000 a week on a backup wage with an extension for us as well, a decent sized loyalty bonus. Although just as I say that, he's decided to put an offer in for 20-year-old Omar Cagliotti. Interesting choice, I guess. Only sign him as a last resort. I mean, what are we, Papa Roach? Like, is this what we've been resorting to? And Omar Kailotti is in. £2,000 a week, 1 year extension. It's not particularly, it's a 1 year deal as well. I'm not really sure what the point of this deal is to us, but hey, I guess the clown saw something in him. And in case you're interested, yes, it's the end of February and we are actually top of the league by 2 points. Callum Wilson is the top scorer in the Premier League. It's gone quite well. More on that in a different video, potentially. I mean, at the end of the day, we're playing a five at the back kind of system I've been using on other saves. If you want to see a video about that specific tactic and how maybe you could do this yourself, then do maybe let me know and I'll maybe make a video specifically about the tactic. Right then, it is now the turn of GIGACHAD. 53 million. And now presumably this is Brighton's asking price, but it is interesting that he's not really been able to negotiate any differences in the prices. The same transfer fee, but look at the wage difference. The wage itself is massively lower. So the contract that GIGACHAD has arranged here with Ibasuma is better in every single conceivable way. GIGACHAD's appearance fee is £7,000 lower. The unused substitute fee and the agent fee itself as well is even that another £150,000 lower. So all in all, GIGACHAD absolutely smashed it on Ibasuma here, gone for Diego Carlos, which does make me think that it's just basically based on your head scout if you've got him doing everything, which I do, which also makes me wonder what the relationship would be like if you had a really good head scout versus a really bad head scout, but still let the Doff do everything and he was really good. Maybe an idea for another video. But for the moment, Diego Carlos, same fee. I imagine the contract, though, hopefully will be better in our favour than the one the clown offered. I mean, it's not just less, it's emphatically less. It's nearly 45 grand a week less than the clown was able to negotiate. So that's clearly a factor. Clean sheet bonus is lower, just everything is lower. He's also put a bid in for Michael Collins on a free transfer, who's a centre-back that was released by Sunderland. I'm sorry, I have no words. I don't understand. Is it because he's English? The clown made some weird transfer decisions. This one might be the weirdest of them all. He's making big moves now. He's gone for Ajax's goalkeeper, Andre Onana. Now, isn't he suspended for like ages and wouldn't even be able to play for us straight away? Now, obviously, suspension will end at some point, but it does seem like a lot of money to spend on someone who we can't use immediately, but there we go. Well, Michael Collins is in for £700 a week on a 1 year deal with an extension. I'm just not really sure what the point of this deal is. Okay, things are hotting up a lot here. Bid for Brennan Johnson of Nottingham Forest. Really like this player in real life. £8 million with a £12 million fee overall. I mean, that would be a pretty solid piece of business. He's a fantastic player. Well, the Johnson deal is done. 18k a week. 4-year contract, lots of wage increases if he plays matches for us, which is, I think he's a good player. He's got Onana. I don't know when he's actually suspended until suspended for next match. Yeah, good. But when suspension end? So we spent £19 million on a goalkeeper that is suspended on a 5-year contract with a 1-year extension. And he's only 25, so he has got quality for the future. Okay, he's doing it again. He's gone after Tawanda Mototi on a free transfer as well, who was released by Forest. I'm a level with you. I don't really understand what he's doing with these particular transfers. Well, Mototi's coming in on £130 a week for 1 year with an extension. He's only gone and bloody done it again. Kai Sanders this time, a player released by Watford, who's a left wing back, young English player. I don't really know what he's doing with these transfers, but he's picking them up, I guess. So he's put a bid in for Tyrese Dolan of Blackburn with 4.23 million, rising to 12 million quid. Well, Dolan's coming in, 4.3 million. There's another 4 million there, so 400k for every league game. Another 2 million for an international appearance, but he might have a second nationality. I don't know. Oh god, he's done it again. Darnell Mintus, another one of these random released players. This time, I mean, what on earth? Who was he even released by? He's released by Huddersfield. In case you're wondering, 4th in the league this time, but still a similar points tally. Callum Wilson, yet again, top scorer in the Premier League. So there's definitely something to this tactical style, I'd say. It's just the other teams were just that little bit better. By the way, Leeds are 3rd. What's going on there? In terms of major outgoing transfers, there were none for either Doff. They actually did quite a good job at hanging on to our players. It was mostly just small loans for shifting deadwood of the squad and players that didn't want to be here. I'd say GIGACHAD maybe just about edged it by getting some extra players out that perhaps we didn't want, but it was kind of much of a muchness, really. In terms of ins, when they did go after the same player, though, this is where it really showed. The contracts that were offered by GIGACHAD were vastly better than anything that the clown could come up with, saving us a huge amount of money, especially in weekly wages, but also in the add-ons. CHUCKLES seemed to favour older players like a Serbi, whereas GIGACHAD seemed to go after slightly more younger players with higher potential like Brennan Johnson and Tyrese Dolan. He did, though, have a weird habit of going after young players that were released that clearly weren't good enough. I guess he thought it was for like a homegrown quota or something? I really don't know. I don't think the transfer AI is actually good enough to be able to make those assessments by itself, and as a result, with the clown being so bad, he just didn't even bother, and weirdly, that kind of worked out better for us in that sense, I suppose. What I'm saying is never trust your Doff with finding young players to bring to the club, that's for sure. Let me know your thoughts. Do you now want to trust your Doff with a few little extra tasks around the club, or are you going to do everything in your power to prevent him from having any control whatsoever? So to wrap up, does the quality of your director of football actually matter? Yes, but not anywhere near as much as you might think.